Good morning and welcome to another lovely day in the Triglav National Park. We're here in Planica in Slovenia for team sprinting. Posey Musgrave alongside myself, David Goldstrom, and here our location, just under 1,000 meters, and this is the first team sprint of the season. In fact, it's almost a year since we had the last one in the World Cup. Well, this is a really lovely part of the world. As you can see, the sunshine kissing part of the stadium here. And this team sprint, the semi-finals have been completed, and so we're now looking forward to the men's and women's finals. But before we do that, a chance to reflect on yesterday's individual competitions, the freestyle sprint, and first we take a look back at the men's competition. Well, the Italian flags were certainly waving for Federico Pellegrino, but he was up against a remarkable performance by the French, posting not one, not two, but three men in the final. But Baptiste Gros, wearing bib number 6, proved to be the strongest of the three, but Pellegrino, saving his energy well during the quarters and the semis, just skipped away from the Frenchman to win his 4th consecutive victory of the season, and the Frenchman 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Baptiste Gros equaling his personal best, Richard Jouve likewise, and a 4th consecutive win for Pellegrino, and also at the same time becoming the most successful World Cup winner in Italian cross-country history. And so to the women's race, and in the final, Astrid Jacobsen, Østberg for Norway, and Stina Nielsen, who broke her duck in winning the Davos sprint earlier in the season. And it's ultimately the powerful Swede forcing her way to the front and using great power and strength to ultimately hold off the challenge of Jacobsen, Weng and Østberg. The three Norwegians just simply couldn't get to Stina Nielsen, who as a result skipped to the top of the Sprint World Cup rankings ahead of Østberg and the former leader Micah Kaspersen-Faller, who'd failed to qualify earlier in the day. A delighted Stina Nielsen, the world silver medalist in Falun, and going from strength to strength. So that was yesterday, but now we focus on today's team sprint finals. As I said, they don't come around too often, and in fact the last one was in Otterpe last year. More of that when we come back after this short break, when Posey Musgrave and myself, David Goldstrom, will set up the two finals, the men's, but first the women's team sprint final, and that comes after this. So just about 7 or 8 minutes away from the women's team sprint final, and as I said, right alongside myself, David Goldstrom, is Posey Musgrave. And Posey, this is a race you were in. In fact, you've got familiar memories of last season's World Championships in Falun, which was almost your last race before retirement.
It was one of my very last races, and I love this format. I think it's really good fun to do. You get out there, you've just got to, for me, it's like a tough interval session. You've just got to go out there and push as hard as you can for each of your 3 laps. So it's a really hard format, and what'll be interesting to see here is which of the teams have managed to conserve their energy through the semi-finals so that they can push through in the final and hopefully get a good result in this one, because obviously this is where it counts.
So 10 teams have come through from the semi-finals, and Norway, Sweden, United States, Germany, Slovenia, Italy, and those are the nations, 6 of them who are represented in this team final. Now it's 2 persons in each team, and so it's 3 times round 1.2 kilometers for each of the athletes and making up the
with
team.
Heidi, your teammates today, for sure strong favorites. How's the course out there? How's it ski in a semi-final?
It's a bit more icy than yesterday, so the first downhill is a bit difficult, but I think the final will be really hard. I think we will have a much closer and harder fight in the final than we had now in the quali, so it's just to recharge now and get strong.
Well, it's nice to see you back in top form and on the podium after an early exit from the tour.
Yeah, it's always good to come back and like see everyone again, and when I can compete with this shape, then it's easy to be happy.
Well, we wish you well later today. All right, Baptiste, we saw an excellent day from the French team yesterday. Strong start already today, getting ready for the finals.
Yeah. We are just in finals. The game starts now, and I hope we will be strong.
All right, well, good luck to you and the rest of the team.
Thank you very much.
So Heidi Weng, who has a really strong constitution. She's looked really strong coming out of the Tour de Ski. Finished on the podium yet again yesterday in the individual sprint. And Baptiste Cros, the best of the three Frenchmen, and France, who've actually got two teams into the men's final, which comes later. So the all-important preparations, Posey.
Yeah, you can see the guys getting the skis ready for the race just now. The ski preparation is so vital for the competitors. So yesterday we saw Andrew Young go out for Great Britain, and he said that it was his skis weren't in it, so that will cost him that vital second that didn't get him through the qualification round. And this makes all the difference. You see, you've got those fast downhills, and if your skis can't keep up, you're just losing so much time, and you're going to be out of the race.
Interesting point there from Heidi Weng. She commented on the fact that the big downhill immediately as they leave the stadium on the first turn, they're quite icy today.
I think it's been really cold overnight again, so that's really packed the course down, and it's quite icy and quite hard and fast conditions there. I think also a lot of the snow here is artificial snow, because like the rest of Europe, they haven't had a great winter, and artificial snow can often be more granular, more icy, and a little bit trickier to ski on.
Well, a gorgeous day, and just about 5 minutes away from the start. Just a reminder, because we don't have the team sprints that often. They come up, though, of course, in the major championships. And in Falun, in the race you took part in, Norway, Østberg and Faller were the winning partnership. And here you get a flavour of what happened in the semi-finals here. And the semi-finals, well, Heidi Weng and Astrid Jacobsen won the first semi-final for Norway's first team, and then in the B final it was actually the Swedes, combination of Ida Ingsmarsdotter and Stina Nielsen, who were fastest. And then when we go over to the men's competition saw in the first semi-final, well, it was all really about France. They won both the first and the second semi-finals. In the first semi-final, it was Chauvin and Jouve. In the second semi-final, it was Jay and Baptiste Cros. And so a really good weekend in prospect for the French, having taken in the men's division second, third and fourth places yesterday, and their spirits will be very high, as will their confidence. So here you can see the results of that first semi-final. The first two by Wright crossing the finishing line, and then the next three in terms of lucky losers coming out of that first semi-final. Second semi-final, Sweden and the United States by Wright, and then Germany, Slovenia, and plenty of Slovenian interest in the competition. Same format here, but you can see four lucky losers coming out of this first of the semi-finals. They call it B, but it actually took place in front of the A final, and they're just Norway's second team and the United States team getting through as lucky losers. Well, as Posey said, it was a lot chillier. It's now warming up as the clock in Planica ticks towards quarter to the hour, and this is the journey.
So this is the same course as we had yesterday for the sprint races, so they'll be doing it 3 times each today. So again, as you head out of the stadium, you've got quite a fast downhill with a tricky corner you've got to navigate before you go into a bit of an uphill, another down, and then a hill where you saw a lot of attacks yesterday, a really decisive uphill, and then into the stadium through the finishing straight.
So we'll be back for the start of the race after this. So the teams lining up here, Germany. This is Germany 1, Sandra Ringwald and Hanna Kolb. And Italy with Greta Long, who will be partnered by Gaia Wurich. Almost under starters' orders here. And 6 nations, 10 teams, and 3 rotations of the course for each member of each team. 1.2 kilometers the distance. And Vesna Fabian, the bronze medalist from the Olympic Games in Sochi, part of that Slovenian team. So not only national rivalry, but internal rivalry amongst a number of these competitions, or a number of these teams. So away we go.
Yeah, out of the start, you quite often see in these team sprints that they'll take it easy for a couple of laps, but it looks like Heidi Weng doesn't want to take it easy at all here. She's really blasted out of the start and into the lead. So again, because you've now got 10 teams on the course, 10 skiers instead of 6, you might want to see skiers going to the front so they can stay out of danger on these corners, especially as you heard Astrid Jakobsen say earlier. It's quite tricky on these corners, and you can see there's one down already, I think, there. Oh, no, so it's really important to get your line so you can stay out of trouble.
So Heidi Weng on this opening leg, and well, just off the back there, that's one of the Slovenians who's piled into the hoarding. Catch up with that, but let's go back to the front there. Heidi Weng, and then the tall figure of Sweden's Ida Ingsmar Dotter. And Ida, the silver medalist from last year's World Championships with Stina Nielsen. And that's an awesome partnership, Posey. Yeah,
they seem to have found their winning combination, the Swedes. So Ingemarsdotter and Nielsen have teamed up for the last couple of events. They did the World Championships and the Olympics team sprint, which was in classic technique. But I think they found a strong partnership and they're sticking with it. And I think they're going to do really well today, especially the confidence Stina has from her win yesterday.
Yeah, and Ida will be looking for a bit of compensation because she was brought down in the quarterfinals. So really on form, we expected her to even make the final. So she's really got something to race for today.
Yeah, I think she's out to prove that she's better than her result was yesterday. She'll be really disappointed with that. And it's always frustrating when you get taken out by someone else in a race. But that's just the nature of ski racing. Sometimes you just have to accept it and move on to the next day.
And it was Nika Razinger for Slovenia who actually was the one who piled into the advertising hoardings. But up there, Norway and Sweden, and team number 6, that's Germany 2, that's Laura Gimler from Oberstdorf in just about 3rd place, just on the far side, who's tracking Heidi Weng. But the front 2 have been there pretty well since the start of the race, as they come under the 100-meter banner to finish the first of their rotations. And within a 40-meter changeover zone, they'll be handing over, and it'll be Heidi Weng handing over to Astrid Jakobsen. It'll be Ida Ingsmar Dotter handing over to Stina Nielsen. And then Lucia Anger will hand over for Germany 2, or receive, I should say, from Germany 2, and we'll pick up the order now. So Astrid Jakobsen, and then Stina Nielsen in there for Sweden.
Yeah, it's interesting, David, that Osberg's obviously decided to have a day off after all our hard work. So we've got Heidi Weng and Astrid Jakobsen in Norway 1, and Osberg not in either team. But I mean, I think with the depth of the Norwegian team, they can afford to have their top skier take a day off, and they should do all right anyway.
Yeah, and Stina Nielsen in some bother there. Here you can see the changeover. Really tricky this sometimes, isn't it? Because it looks a big area, but it gets very crowded.
Yeah, it can be a bit of a mess, a bit of organised chaos going on. The trick is just to try and stay out of trouble. So what a lot of teams will do is they'll have an agreement. Are you going to stand on the right or the left? Are you going to be a bit further forward or further back in the changeover zone? If you have some sort of agreement, you can look out for your partner when you come in and hopefully avoid too much difficulty. So in between all of the laps, you can see the ski techs are working there on the skis. So the skiers will take them off, their techs will brush them down, put on a layer of something really quickly to make sure they're competitive for every round. So it can be quite frantic because you've got about 2.5 minutes here, and in that time they've got to get the skis off, prep them up, get them back on again, and have that skier ready to go for the next lap. So it's fast moving the whole time.
Sweden 2 in third place there. Hanna Falk skiing for the second leg here, and it's red bibs on the first athletes for each team, and then blue bibs, as you can see. A bit confusing though, because Norway, who are the highest ranked in terms of the Nation Cup, they wear the red bib, and Slovenia and Lampic at the moment having a problem because Razinger was so far back at the changeover. So almost back in the stadium for the next changeover, and what a gorgeous day.
Looks absolutely lovely out there. Really good venue. I think it's been a great move for them to come here this weekend. I think it's been really successful. Good course, nice spectators, and beautiful weather, as you said, as well.
Yes, with the famous ski jumping hills in the background. So it's going to be Jakobsen to give it back to Weng. It's going to be Nielsen to hand over to Ingsmar Dotter. And then for Sweden 2, it'll be Falk to the relatively inexperienced Jonna Sundling, who is a real improver for Sweden.
Yeah, so you can see them coming in again. I thought they looked quite comfortable there coming into that changeover. It didn't look like they were pushing the pace too much. Be interesting to see if any of the teams start to make a break now, if they're going to still ease off for another lap or so. Sometimes it just really comes down to tactics. Sometimes, you know, it's not really until the last couple of laps that the pace hits up. Sometimes they want to break the field apart a little bit earlier on.
Sandra Ringwald for Germany, ahead for Germany one of her teammate Laura Gimler. So Germany in 4 and 5 at the moment, and it's a little disappointing for the host nation because they haven't really got into this race, and particularly the Slovenia 1 team with Vesna Fabian back skiing at the moment.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see them back because I think that's a really strong team. You've got Vesna Fabian, who, as you said, is the bronze medalist from Sochi. They're missing their other top performer in Katja Visnar, who's out, but even with Jabasek, it should be good. So
yeah. And the Italians, I was going to say, also a little disappointing to be nearly 4 seconds off the pace here. But the pace is fast and furious, and you can see here the real force going in. And this is flat out sprinting, it really is.
Yeah, they are pushing the pace up this hill. You can see as they come in here, they're moving into the skate one, the technique you use to get up the hill. So they're really working hard, and they're going into that top gear. And it looks like Weng is trying to push the pace and break the field apart there.
And the gap's really opening up now to the next changeover. And it'll be Heidi Weng handing over to Astrid Jakobsen. Well, the race has really developed here, hasn't it, Posey? Breakaway here, and Norway, Sweden, Germany, and Sweden, 4 nations, 4 teams away.
Yeah, their pack's really broken apart here. Norway's pushing the pace up the front, and that's really pushed the field apart. So you've got, as you just said, you've got Norway, Sweden, and Germany. Sweden too, desperately trying to hang on there, but I don't know how long they're going to keep going for because they look like they're struggling to stay on the back of those top 3 teams.
Heidi Weng on to Astrid Jakobsen, former world champion in classic style many, many years ago. So Jakobsen and then Stina Nielsen in here. And the Slovenians have really been blown away by the front pace, and very disappointing for the Slovenian fans. As it was yesterday, I have to say that not having Vesna Fabian in the finals was a really disappointing outcome. I thought she'd definitely make it. But back to the race proper here, and you can see Jakobsen and Norway 1 have been leading all the way. Stina Nielsen in second place, but Stina Nielsen could be crafty here, because I think this is a good tactic, not wanting to lead. Let the Norwegians do the work. And I don't know what your view would be, but she's a hunter, isn't she?
Yeah, I think she looks really comfortable there. She's just tagging along behind Jakobsen, staying in second place. She's got a bit of space, so she's not gonna get in any trouble. She should have some clear lines on the downhills. But she's always in sight of the leaders, and that's important. I think it's a really good tactic. There's no need to go out to the front and push the pace. Often you're just using a lot of excess energy. So I think she's playing it smart here, and I don't think they're going to be worried at all.
Yeah, because these are the anchor leg, or the final leg athletes here. They're on their second rotation at the moment. Hanna Falk there for Sweden in third place. She's regained that. Sandra Ringvald just behind her. And those 4 are away. So they've completed 2 of their 3 exertions, and now for the last time it's going to be back to the pathfinders for each of the countries. So Heidi Weng, Ida Ingsmarsdotter, and also it'll be Sandra Ringvald, in fact, taking over from Hanna Kolb. Apologies for that. And you can see still 4 nations clear, and I don't think, or 4 teams clear, I don't think anybody's going to change that situation.
No, those first 4 teams have got a bit of a breakaway on the others, so I think it's going to be hard for them to move back up to the front for anyone else. But it's really interesting, this last lap, because I think everyone's going to push it as fast as they can now. And who's got the lactate out of their legs, who's going to be able to hold on to the pace, and who's going to drop off. So I hope to see the Germans staying up there, because it'd be good to see them on the podium. It's been a little while.
Yeah, so 1 more exchange to go, and there you can see the 4 nations there, covered by just under 2 seconds, but it looks a lot closer than that between the 4. So Germany definitely not out of this at the moment. So these now, Heidi Weng up there, and there the tall figure of Ida Ingsmarsdotter and Stina Nielsen. I suppose in a funny sort of way, you've got to make them favourites, given the fact that they're world silver medalists, and given the fact that Norway are not using either the combination that they succeeded with either in the World Championships or indeed in Sochi. And now you can see there Sandra Ringvald making the move to move herself from 4th into 2nd. Stina Nielsen in I should say Ida Ingsmarsdotter there in 3rd place, and falling back a little bit is Jonna Sundling.
Yeah, Heidi Weng is attacking big time over the top of the hill there. She's trying to get breaking, give Jakobsen a clear run for her last lap. But she's not going to have her own way. Ingsmarsdotter's trying to hang on the back there, and Sandra Ringvald as well. But it looks like Johanna Sundling's dropped off the pace a bit. I think that last lap is maybe a little bit much for her legs.
So this is where it's really important for the woman in 2nd place there, Ida, for Sweden, in the white there, to keep right as close as she can onto the ski tails there of Heidi Weng, who is tough as nails. I am
so impressed with her. And Nielsen as well, give them both credit. They've done the whole tour, got on the podium yesterday, and they're out again today. I think they're going to have a well-earned break after this, hopefully.
So Norway, Sweden, Germany, that's the 1, 2, 3 as they come round now for the final exchange. So it's going to be Heidi Weng to Astrid Jakobsen, Ingsmarsdotter to Stina Nielsen, and then for Germany it'll be Sandra Ringvald to Hanna Kolb.
I think those top 2 teams have got a bit of a breakaway now, don't they, down to Germany. But Germany's clear on Sweden, so I think they'll just be concentrating on staying on the podium and holding tight to 3rd place, because that'd be a great result for them.
So 1 or 2 more exchanges to come through. And now on the final lap there, well, just coming into the last 300 meters of the race, apologies for deserting you at the crucial part, but Stina Nielsen on the far side there of Astrid Jakobsen, and this is the big fight between Sweden and Norway. Stina Nielsen successful yesterday and powerful and powers away from the Norwegian.
That's incredible. She absolutely destroyed her up that last hill. She just really turned it on. I mean, she showed yesterday she's a great finisher, and it's incredible the gap she's got there, and she's going to be able to hold that into the finish. That was a fantastic race from her.
So Stina Nielsen makes it 2 victories in the space of 24 hours. It's Sweden, Norway, and coming home in 3rd place, it's Germany, number 1. Hannah Kolb coming through there. So congratulations to Ida Ingsmarsdotter, who was the pathfinder, and Stina Nielsen, who brought Sweden home. Norway, Heidi Weng and Astrid Jakobsen, and Germany, Sandra Ringwald and Hannah Kolb in 3rd place. And you can see there quite a big gap of over 10 seconds back to the Sweden, or the Swedish second team of Jonna Sundling and Hannah Falk. So in the end, really spread out, Posey.
Yeah, pretty spread out. I think Heidi Weng really destroyed the field on her second lap, and that started to break the whole group apart. Some quite big gaps here, but you can see from the way they're all lying down in the finishing straight how that race takes it out of you. It is so hard to do 3 laps of that course at top speed. But Stina Nielsen doesn't look like she's worked at all. She just looks very happy with herself. So she's going to be 2 victories in 2 days. That's a great weekend for her.
Well, it's remarkably important because in the Nations Cup rankings, Sweden are in 2nd place to Norway, but I can't remember a Nations Cup rankings at this stage of any season. Norway in the women's division, 5,759 points before this race, and Sweden 2,784 points behind. So they've redressed the balance just a little bit. But Norway are so dominant in cross-country skiing, and that's reflected in the Nations Cup standings. Overall, Norway 8,716 points ahead of Sweden in 2nd place when you put the women's and men's points together.
It's incredible how dominant they are this season. They've got a strong men's team, a strong women's team. They've got good sprinters. They've got good distance skiers. And if they want to rest some people up, like we've seen this weekend, we've got Northug and Kroav action. They've got other skiers that can come up and take their place. So it's just so hard to beat them. We've got the last team coming in here, Slovenia, making the most of their moment in the spotlight. It's a shame they're out of the race so early on. I think that fall on the very first corner just took them out of it right from the beginning. So
Nika Ratzinger, and this is her teammate Anna Maria Lampitz coming across the line here. But
yeah, shame for them, but I mean, good experience, good fun, and the Slovenian women's team, I think will do well in future. They're quite young, those two. See the winners over here, Stina Nielsen back on top again.
yeah, very pleased there for Ida Ingsmarsdotter as well after yesterday's crash, and coming out victorious and underlining, you know, their strength as a team. Nordic Ski World Championships next year in Lahti. That's a force to be reckoned with, irrespective of who Norway put in their team.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great team. They're going to do absolutely well. Skate and Classic, they're really strong. Watch out for them.
Well, Posey, this is the way it started. Tremendous power, and Norway actually leading until the very last 300 meters, and then this is what happened.
I mean, just look at the pace she puts on here. You can see Jakobsen there. She changed over into the skate 1 technique for uphill. Stina is so strong. She was able to stay in skate 2 and just make a huge gap on the field. So that shows the kind of skier she is. She's all about the power. She's so strong, so big, and she was just amazing there.
Yeah, she's really imposing when you see her trackside, isn't she? You know, over a lot of other rivals. She's got the height and she's got the power, and look at the margin of victory.
I mean, it's amazing that she managed to do that, considering how tight it was for the rest of the race.
All right,
Here
ladies,
are the winners.
Winners in Ottepaa last year in this event. Winners again. We'll say you're the defending World Cup team sprint ladies. So how was it, the final leg for you? We saw Heidi attack. You maybe knew it was coming?
Yeah, we saw in the qualification that Norway was going hard on the leg 2 and 3 on the first. So I knew that it will be hard, and I tried to push. And then in the last lap, Germany came a little bit close and for me. So I saw that, Jesus, now Heidi got like 10 meters, and I have to push hard and get her back. So Stina had her back to follow out on the last lap.
And then, Stina, we saw you just sit there perfect until the final climb into the stadium, and then you really went full gas.
Yeah, I think Ida did it very perfect. I got the race just like I wanted, so I'm very satisfied, and it's good. It's very fun because I think Ida and I work very good as a couple.
As a couple, yeah, perfect. All right, well, congratulations on another team sprint win.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and actually in 24 outings now of the team sprint, that's victory number 4 for Sweden. Norway, not surprisingly, over the years has been the most successful. They have 10 team sprint successes. Italy 4 and Germany and Sweden 3 apiece, but now Sweden with this success, really delighted, and also sending a very strong message, I think, Posey, to the Norwegians.
Yeah, I think, as you said, they're a force to be reckoned with, so they know they can come out on any day and get the win. So.
Men's final is next. So getting ready for the men's final. 10 teams, 7 nations. Posey Musgrave alongside myself, David Goldstrom, for this, and the course is the same and the rules of the game are the same. 2 members of each team and each athlete skiing 3 times round this 1200-meter course, and so you have a pathfinder and you have a final sprinter in each team. And very interesting to see how these teams decide who leads and who will try to bring the success home. But Posey, I suppose one of the great things here is, yes, we do have the Italian team with Nurkla and Pellegrino, the individual star of sprinting at the moment. But what about the French?
Again, just amazing to see this. I mean, I thought yesterday they were doing well, but to win both semi-finals, they're just on fire this weekend. And I mean, they just got so much depth in their sprint team. It's amazing to see they've got 4 skiers that can be up there right at the front of the pack. So I just hope that they can pull this through to the final as well and go on to have to sort of carry that success through into this final as well, because again, it doesn't matter if you win the semi-final if you don't win the final, does it?
No, but they must be super confident after yesterday.
I mean, I think so. Having 2nd, 3rd and 4th place yesterday, they know they've got the speed, you know, they've got the tactics, so I think they're going to be really confident out there.
So France 1, Renard J will lead off. France 2, Valentin Chauvin. For Italy 1, Dietmar Nukla. For Russia 2, Alexander Pajinski. For Norway 2, Hadestad, the Olympic champion. For Germany 1, Thomas Bing. For the United States, Andy Newell. And then Ratifki for Russia 1, Glersen for Norway 1, and Mikkonen for Finland number 1.
Yeah, big surprise for me here is no Sweden in the final. Got knocked out in the semi-finals, so it's not often you see a team sprint final without a Swedish team in it.
So Pajinski, who, as you were saying, Posey, probably more comfortable as a classic sprinter rather than freestyle. Thomas Bing and Eisenhower, good young combination.
Yeah, and Thomas Bing, again, more of a distance skier as well. It's interesting, you'll note some of the teams have gone for one distance skier as well as a sprinter, because you have the 3 laps. There is a bit an element of endurance in it. So Nokla, who's teamed up with Pellegrino, definitely more comfortable in the distance, but they've teamed up before with some good success. So obviously they're confident that it works for them anyway.
Rativki and Eisenhower, who were both in the finals yesterday. Andrew Newell and Simeon Hamilton. This is a partnership that could do really well.
Yeah, they're both really strong sprinters, and I think they've never quite managed to put it together in a team sprint, but in theory, on paper, it's a great combination, so it'll be interesting to see how they get on today.
And Norway #1, Anders Glørsen and Erik Bransdal on the final leg. Czech Republic. This is interesting to see the Czech Republic in the lineup.
Nice.
Well, enormous power, and once again I think the French keen to stay out front, to give them the opportunity to find the line around these icy corners.
Yeah, you can see it as well, can't you? I mean, just how tight, how hard-packed the snow is and how icy. It's really quite tricky conditions today, a little bit faster. So, I mean, they're almost hitting 50k an hour, sorry, going down those hills. So, French leading it out front, lots of confidence from yesterday, and they want to stay up front and be a force to be reckoned with again today.
Yeah, that's Valentin Chauvin for the French. He didn't make the final. He was in the quarterfinals, which was still, given his relatively inexperience, a pretty good effort. Once again, look at the power, look at the skis coming off there. I mean, you know this from your own experience, how much power you achieve by the strength you push down.
Yeah, they're coming up so high here that you can see them almost coming off the ground as they want to get all that power through the poles as they double pole out of the start before heading into the skate race.
So Chauvin on the left of your picture, 21. That's Francois Renarget. So the French there making themselves big. Little French wall there ahead of the Russians and the Norwegians.
Yeah, pace looks quite calm to me at the moment, David. I think they're just taking it easy for a lap. It doesn't look like anyone wants to make a break for it just yet. So it's staying fairly close together in these early stages. That's not unusual in the men's race. You'll often see some tactics at play, and it'll be a couple of laps until things really heat up, I reckon.
It's just finding their rhythm and the feel of the course. And there on the near side, Pajinski, closest to just about in 4th place, moving up there. And now that's an interesting replay, because that was Chauvin being taken off his skis, and that's a pretty strong recovery, because there he is back out front again.
Yeah, good recovery. He stayed on his feet really well there, so good to see that he was able to react quickly and stay up. That's the problem with having everyone so close together. It's always a little bit scrappy, and there's, you know, skis and poles going all over, but he's stayed up there as they come into the first changeover.
And it's the red bibs of Norway 1 who get away, but once again the French just speeding a little faster out. And Norway 1, that was Glørsen, who handed over to Erik Bransdal now. So French leading, France #1. So Baptiste Gros, big, powerful guy, and 21, in fact. Baptiste Gros, who equaled his personal best, the 2nd runners-up spot for the season. Mighty impressive, but he was given a piece of education by Pellegrino in the final yesterday, who won it very smartly, but Gros was absolutely the best of the rest.
Yeah, Pellegrino gave everyone a masterclass in sprinting yesterday, but the French sort of held their own. I think they can be proud of it, of how they skied. And again, you can see he's just staying in front there, staying out of trouble, and yeah, just trying to have a quick look around there and see how everyone's doing, seeing if he wants to push the pace or if he's going to stay nice and easy. He looks very relaxed.
Yeah, Pellegrino, left-hand side, second man, white hat, little bobble on it, and he will hunt his way round here. But he'll be looking for Nurkler to give him a good position going into the last rotation so that he can use that turbo power towards the end of the race.
Yeah, Nurkler's role here is really just to keep Pellegrino in the hunt. So he's got to come into the final changeover in a good position and then let Pellegrino finish it off for him. I think that's what their tactics are going to be. I mean, look at the pace here. They're really crawling along. That is not very fast at the moment. There's definitely a bit of cat and mouse going on at the moment.
Yeah, and really a tough task here for the Waxman when you consider here that they've got, you know, for each racer, because this is a loop takes about 2 minutes 15 seconds, so they've only got 5 minutes in which to actually turn the skis round for each of the racers.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, this is quite a fast sprint course, 2 minutes 15 seconds. It's on the shorter end of the spectrum, so that's tough for the Waxtex to be able to do anything productive with that time.
So they're all gathering now as Erik Bransdal leads Norway 1 into the exchange. So we're going back to the Pathfinders now. So it'll be Glersen for Norway who gets away. There he is in that 40-meter box. And then it's now Renard J for France 1, Valentin Chauvin back for France 2.
Yeah, French are still up there, aren't they? They're looking very happy to stay at the front of the pack. They don't want to let anyone get out of their sight.
Pajinski in fact, Russia too. Pajinski in 4th place. So coming through to the end of the second rotation of the Pathfinders. Noticeable here that Bruno Nurkler for Italy losing position and distance.
Yeah, we said he had one job to do, and that's to set Pellegrino up, but he seems to be slipping a little bit off the back there. So, I mean, he's still in the pack and he's just about maintaining contact, but you really want to be a little bit further up so that Pellegrino doesn't have too many people to go through, because it really can take a lot of energy sort of dodging your way through the crowds and trying to get to the front of the pack. So I think if I were Pellegrino, I'd be wanting him to make his way a little bit further up. But Pellegrino's still got 2 laps to go, 1 more lap for Nurkler after this, so there's still time for them to make their way up and position themselves for the finish.
So on to the second rotation for the men who will be anchoring their teams in the next time around. But once again, it's Norway 1 up there. Erik Bransdal leading. And Bransdal, one of the most experienced racers. Here you can see the work that has to be done. I mean, this is remorseless, relentless for the servicemen.
It's as much of a race for the servicemen as it is for the skiers out there. You can see them sprinting to get the skis back, so they've got a chance to brush them down.
Yeah, Bransdal a bit disappointing. He didn't make the final yesterday. Neither did Fosley. 2 of them who probably under normal circumstances we would have expected. In fact, it was one of those unbelievable moments, and we still haven't managed to find the record. When was the last sprint final without a Norwegian in the final? But that's what happened yesterday. But Bransdal leading here, but being shadowed by those Frenchmen and the Russian. And so it's Gafarov for Russia, just on the left of your picture there. Gafarov for Russia, the number 2 team.
Yeah, still 2 Norwegian teams up there as well, so potential for either of them to do really well today. Hatstad should be quite popular with the local crowd, I think, because he's married to Katja Visnar, the Slovenian sprinter, so I'm sure he might be feeling like he's almost got a bit of home advantage as well in his own way.
Yeah, and that looks like Dusan Kozicek for the Czech Republic in a sort of all-white suit, just moving up there into a share of what would be 5th position.
Yeah, they've been quite quiet at the back, the Czechs, haven't they? But, I mean, they're still there and they look very comfortable. So he's starting to make his way up here. It'll be interesting to see how they get on, because they just sneaked into the final. They were the last team to qualify.
And Norway won, and Bransdal now really pushed back. So this is quite a change here. But once again, the French getting to the front. And Baptiste Gros, the man there, just being taken on. And taken on by Pellegrino and Italy. So Pellegrino's had to use a bit more energy, and now I'm sure the message he would have whispered into Nuclear's, his partner's ear is, this is the lap on which you die for me.
Yeah, you start working now, I think is what he's saying. He's made his way up to the front, so I think he's going to be hoping that Nuclear can stay up there, so he's in a good position for the final. I mean, we saw yesterday he's got a fantastic finishing sprint, Pellegrino, but there's only so much one man can do, so he needs to be positioned well.
Well, I think Pellegrino, by the effort there in that second rotation for him, has used the energy to give Nuclear the best possible chance.
I hope so. I mean, all Nuclear needs to do now is just stay where he is. He doesn't need to do anything spectacular. He's just got to stay up at the front of the pack there. I wouldn't expect to see him sort of going off the front and attacking or anything like that. He's just got to keep in contact with the leaders, because they know with Pellegrino finishing that they don't need to be out in front just yet.
Yeah, and also worth mentioning Dietmar Nuclear and Federico Pellegrino, bronze medalist in Falun, behind the Norwegians Krogh and Northug, who won the gold, both absentees here, and Petukov and Krukov, who took the silver. So they are, in a sense, the form team.
Yeah, it's a really good team. It's a bit like we saw in the women's with Stina Nilsson and Ingemarsdottir. I feel like the Italians have found a combination that works with them, and they're just going to stick with it. And sometimes you can just see when a team works really well and they've got a good understanding.
And there is Nuclear in about fifth place there, but there's a lot of pace being injected.
It's really starting to heat up. Last lap for these guys, they're pushing the pace. Looks like, I think that's Renauget up at the front, is it? And he's really starting to string the field out a little bit. So, yeah, making a bit of an attack up the hill here, you can see. And it's Germany that's able to respond well, but a little bit of pushing and shoving going on there.
Yeah, Thomas Bing having a little discussion there with Renauget. But here they come. Renauget in there, Thomas Bing for Germany. And then for Russia, Pajinski, who's actually skied pretty well, getting back into it now. Glersen at the back of that pack, and also Dietmar Nuclear, 5 teams away as they come in to hand over for the final time now. And so this is where Pellegrino finds himself up into second place. So you could actually say that Nuclear has really worked well. He was given a boost by Pellegrino on the previous rotation, and Pellegrino now in, I think, absolutely the optimum position.
I think he's in exactly where he wants to be right now. He's in that lead group. He's positioned himself nicely. He's letting Baptiste Gros do the work again, but you know, he doesn't need to. He knows he's got the finishing speed to just turn on the jets when he needs to, with sort of 300-400 meters to go.
Yeah, and that's Jan Barton for the Czech Republic, who's handed over to Dusan Kozicek on the final leg. But here we go, and this is déjà vu.
This is like a rerun of yesterday. Apart from this time, at least we've got some Norwegians in the final, so a little bit more red again. But yeah, Baptiste Gros and Pellegrino fighting it out again for the finish. I mean, I'm going to call it the same as yesterday, David. I see Pellegrino taking this one again.
Well, it's that last little climb, isn't it, where it all changed, and Pellegrino going ahead, and Baptiste Gros, and look at the injection of pace. They left Germany, who are in the bronze medal position, in behind, but Baptiste Gros finding a little more power here, and Pellegrino having to work, and Baptiste Gros, tough. He's a real beast of a sprinter.
Yeah, he's definitely got the sprinter's physique. He's got a little bit bulkier, you know, some big arm muscles there, so he can power his way up the hills. He's definitely all about the power skiing. Interesting to see the other French team still just about in the hunt for bronze as well. But I think Pellegrino, this is when he's going to go for it. He's going to make his move now, see if he can get past Gros, and he's getting around him. It's like Gros just standing still.
Absolutely amazing. And when you look at Pellegrino, the way that he's skiing and skating here, those skis minimally off the snow. He's got fantastic contact.
Yeah, he's just got amazing technique here, and that's how he's able to get such a huge gap as he goes to the finish. He can ease up, he's got, you know, space between him.
And so the world bronze medalists, they take it from France 1 and France 2, who won their respective semi-finals. And the French there with Baptiste Cros and Renard Jay, and France 2, Valentin Chauvin and Richard Jouve. That's still, I think, a triumph for the French to have been so much to the fore. And there he is, Baptiste Cros. Okay, he's been beaten by the best sprinter in the world at this moment, but that's a fantastic result for France 1 and 2 to be on the podium. And that Italian flag flying proudly, and Dietmar Knockler, actually, you've got to give him a big pat on the back, because Pellegrino asked him to do the work and he actually delivered on that second rotation.
Yeah, I think he did really well. He managed to keep them up there in contention. For him, it wasn't really about, you know, making a big move or pushing. It was about just keeping in contact with the front and then letting Pellegrino do exactly what he did and blast his way into the finish. And he's just so good at the moment, Pellegrino. No one can touch him at the moment in skate sprinting.
So very much to form. Germany there, that's Thomas Bing and Sebastian Eisenlauer. Eisenlauer was in the final yesterday in 4th place. And Norway, Anders Glersen and Erik Bransdal, only 5th. Well, Posey, really good men's final.
Yeah, great men's final. And seeing 2 French teams on the podium, that's really exciting. But yeah, nice, fun race, good course. So I think it led itself to some exciting action here. You can see just this finishing push by Pellegrino is just incredible. I don't think you're going to get bored of seeing that happen, are you?
No, and yesterday he eclipsed the World Cup winning records of both Pietro Pilacotra and Christian Zorzi. And he just seems to go from strength to strength. He's got super confidence. But I think there's one thing that's really interesting in the sprint rankings, which I noticed when I was sort of reflecting on things last night, that his classic, of course, isn't as strong as his freestyle sprinting. And coming up in the next sprints, he's got a couple of classic sprints to handle in Drammen and Stockholm before a run home of 4 freestyle sprints, including the Tour of Canada.
Yeah, really heavy on the freestyle sprints this year in the World Cup programme, so good for Pellegrino. But, I mean, he does really, if he wants to be a great all-round skier, he does really need to work on his classic, because as fun as it is to win all these skate sprints, he probably wants to be getting up there in the classic as well. So that's something he'll be working on for next year. Yeah,
the interesting thing for him, though, is the championship sprints go in alternate fashion. So in Falun last year, it was a classic sprint, which means next year it'll be a freestyle sprint, or should be a freestyle sprint in Lahti. And that means it will come to a classic sprint, theoretically, at the Olympic Games.
Yeah, so looking good for him for the World Champs, but it's all about the Olympics, isn't it? That's what everyone wants to win. So it's be on his mind that if he wants to win an Olympic medal, he's going to have to work on his classic sprinting. Well, he's got 3 years to do it. So hopefully he can be there. I have no idea what this chainsaw's about, but they seem to be having a great time with it.
Well, who on earth other than Baptiste Cros would be holding the chainsaw? I don't know whether that's some obscure sponsorship or whatever it is. And I don't know who gave it to him either.
I don't know who's just carried it to the side of the tracks. You never know when you'll need one.
But the French have really announced themselves, and that's great for cross-country skiing. And also pretty good, because you could see these men potentially playing a part in their relay team as well.
Oh, I mean, one of the highlights for me from Sochi was the French men getting the bronze in the relay. So if they can have some more skiers come through to maintain that strength, that would be great to see, because it was a good medal, well earned.
And they've got some good distance skiers as well, you know, in the old boys like Jean-Marc Gaillard as well.
Yeah, so good all-round team on the men's at the moment. Well,
I hope you've enjoyed this outing at Planica. Posey, I think we're both agreed, very well designed course which allows you to attack and then counter-attack.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the course. It's great to see Planica on the World Cup circuit for the first time. I think it's been really successful, and it's just a bit of a change from the last few courses. A bit more technical, some fast corners, some good downhills, and a bit of a variety. And that brings out the good skiers, the ones that have got the technique and the agility.
Indeed, that course tests just about every aspect of technique.
Yeah, as I said, it's got those downhills, so you've got to be able to take the corners, but also it's got some steep uphills and the finishing push with your technique on the flats as well. Okay. So a really all-round course.
Congratulations on an impressive victory. Dietmar, you kept it close all the way at the end just to give Pellegrino a chance.
Yeah, I'm really lucky to can race with Federico. He's so strong at the moment, and in the semi-final I didn't feel so good. But I'm really happy that in the last lap in the final, my legs were okay and I could stay with the group, and that's perfect for us. And with Pellegrino, he's the best finisher in the world, and we're really happy.
And so it's obviously nice to win, but how good does it feel to go past someone on the way to the wind at the end?
No, yeah, it's fantastic. It's very good to make results with Didi. We are a teammate in Fiamme Oro group in Italy, and after the last year podium, the Fallon medal, and today win together is really fantastic. We are by the last 5 years the Italian champion in team sprint, so that's good. Italy is good.
And now you're the World Cup champion, we'll say. Yeah, congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Tell you what, Posey, lunch is going to taste really good, isn't it? And a glass of something, I think,
I wouldn't be surprised if a glass or two of red wine came out for a bit of a celebration after that.
Yeah, and I think the French will have a pretty good lunch as well.
I think they'll definitely be celebrating as well. It's a great weekend for the French team.
So, once again, here you can see the individual. Look at that mammoth advantage that Norway have over Sweden in the women's division of the Nations Cup. 2,750 points, the lead in the women's division. Norway have just been storming, but you have to thank the likes of Johaug and Ersberg and Weng for their contributions.